Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare.
Hare Ram,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram.
Hare Krishna Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna,
Hare Ram, Ram Ram.
Hare Krishna, Krishna
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare
If you
Ram,
want to be the
Ram.
host, Prabhuji, you can.
Hare
Yeah,
Krishna,
I'm at home,
Krishna
Prabhuji.
Krishna,
In
Hare
Prabhuji.
Hare.
I'm
Hare
at home.
Ram,
Okay.
Ram
Yeah,
Ram.
Okay.
I can manage.
Hare Krishna, Krishna
Rama,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna,
Hare
Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama,
Krishna
Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare
Hare
Rama,
Krishna,
Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare
Hare
Rama, Hare
Krishna,
Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Krishna
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Rama, Hare
Ram
Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Ram,
Krishna
Ram
Krishna,
Ram
Hare
Ram.
Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare
Hare Krishna,
Ram,
Krishna Krishna,
Ram.
Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna,
Hare
Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Ram,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Ram,
Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare
Hare
Hare.
Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama
Hare Ram,
Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Krishna,
Ram.
Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama
Hare
Rama,
Krishna,
Hare Hare. Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna Krishna, Hare
Hare
Rama, Hare
Ram,
Rama,
Hare
Rama
Ram,
Rama, Hare
Ram,
Hare.
Ram.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare
Hare
Rama, Hare
Krishna,
Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare
Krishna,
Krishna, Krishna Krishna,
Hare Ram,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Ram,
Hare
Ram.
Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Hare Rama, Hare
Krishna,
Rama,
Krishna,
Rama Rama,
Krishna,
Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Ram, Hare Ram,
Hare
Ram.
Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
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 Hare Rama,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna,
Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Ram, Hare
Krishna
Ram,
Krishna,
Ram, Ram.
Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare
Hare
Rama,
Ram,
Rama Rama,
Hare
Hare Hare.
Ram, Ram,
Hare
Ram.
Krishna, Krishna Hare Rama,
Hare
Hare Rama,
Krishna,
Rama Rama, Hare
Krishna,
Hare.
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna, Krishna Hare
Hare Ram,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Rama,
Ram,
Rama
Ram.
Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Rama,
Krishna,
Hare Rama,
Krishna,
Rama Rama,
Krishna,
Hare Hare.
Hare
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Ram, Hare
Hare
Ram, Ram.
Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna Hare
Krishna,
Hare Rama,
Krishna,
Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare
Hare
Ram, Hare
Krishna,
Ram.
Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare
Hare
Hare.
Krishna,
Hare Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna,
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 Hare Rama, Hare Rama,
Hare
Rama
Ram,
Rama, Hare Hare. Hare
Ram.
Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama,
Hare
Rama Rama,
Krishna,
Hare Hare.
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare
Hare
Rama,
Ram,
Hare Rama,
Hare
Rama
Ram,
Rama,
Ram.
Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna
Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Ram, Ram, Ram.
Hare Krishna
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare 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 Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare Krishna,
सहस्ताय भूतदेश श्रीमते भक्ति विनाथ स्वामी
Hare Ram,
नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य
Hare
प्रभु
Ram,
नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवादि गौरभक्त वृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे राम 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 हरे हरे
Ram,
हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे राम हरे हरे कृष्ण
Hare
कृष्ण
Krishna,
हरे
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare
हरे
Hare Ram,
कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे राम राम हरे हरे
Hare
हरे
Krishna,
कृष्ण 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 हरे
Hare Ram,
हरे हरे हरे
Ram,
कृष्ण 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 हरे
Hare
हरे
Krishna,
हरे
Krishna
कृष्ण 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 हरे
Hare Ram,
हरे
Ram, Ram.
हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे
Hare
राम
Krishna, Krishna
हरे
Krishna,
कृष्ण 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 हरे राम हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण
Hare
हरे
Krishna,
राम हरे हरे कृष्ण
Hare Ram,
कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे राम हरे
Hare
हरे
Krishna,
कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे राम
Hare
हरे
Ram, Hare Ram,
कृष्ण कृष्ण राम
Hare
हरे
Krishna, Krishna
हरे
Krishna,
कृष्ण कृष्ण
Hare Ram,
हरे राम हरे हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण
Hare
हरे राम हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे राम हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे राम हरे हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे राम हरे हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे राम हरे हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे राम हरे हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे राम हरे हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण राम हरे हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे कृष्ण हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे राम हरे कृष्ण
Hare Krishna, Hare
हरे
Krishna,
कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे राम हरे हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण
Hare Krishna,
हरे
Hare Krishna,
राम हरे
Hare Ram,
कृष्ण
Hare Ram,
हरे
Ram Ram.
राम हरे
Hare
कृष्ण
Krishna, Hare
कृष्ण
Krishna,
हरे राम
Hare
हरे
Ram, Hare Ram.
कृष्ण राम हरे
Hare Krishna,
हरे
Hare
कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे
Hare Ram,
हरे
Hare Ram,
हरे
Ram Ram.
कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
हरे कृष्ण हरे
Hare Ram,
राम हरे हरे कृष्ण
Hare
कृष्ण
Krishna,
हरे राम हरे
Hare Ram,
कृष्ण
Ram Ram.
हरे राम हरे
Hare Krishna,
कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे राम हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण
Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram.
हरे कृष्ण हरे
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे
Krishna, Hare
कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे राम हरे हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण राम हरे हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण राम हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण राम हरे हरे कृष्ण राम हरे हरे कृष्ण राम हरे हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे राम राम हरे हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण राम हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण राम हरे हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे राम हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण राम हरे हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे राम राम हरे Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna
Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama.
Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare
Hare
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare
Ram.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Raju Prabhu, Sapan Prabhu, Samyukta Mataji, Gaurav Prabhu, Lalit Mohan Prabhu, Lavanya, Deepa Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, Sahal Glory Shri Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Let us begin with Mangalacharana prayers. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnanatirmirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimade Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Mukhaṁ karoti vācālam pangum langayate girim yatkripatamaham vande Shri Gurum Denatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Sri Chaitanyam Ishwaram. Om apavitra pavitro va sarvavastam gatopi va yasmaret pundarikaksham sabhyabhyantaram suchihi. Shri Vishnu, Shri Vishnu, Shri Vishnu. I hope you are all doing well. So till this verse we complete, or we have to start from this. Raju Prabhuji?
Yes, Prabhu. Yes, Prabhuji. 11th verse we completed, Prabhuji.
Till above verse, okay. Yeah, sure. Let us continue from 12th verse, 18th chapter. 18th chapter entitled as Conclusion, the Perfection of Renunciation. This is the last chapter in the Bhagavad Gita. 78 slokas in this chapter. 78 slokas. Yeah, 78. So, 12th verse. Yes, let us start with Deepa Mataji. Can you please?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Dandavad Pranam.
Yeah.
Translation. For one who is renounced, the threefold fruit of action, desirable, undesirable, and mixed, accrue after death. But those who are in the renounced order of life have no such result to suffer or enjoy. Purport. A person in Krishna consciousness acting in knowledge of his relationship with Krishna is always liberated. Therefore, he does not have to enjoy or suffer the results of his action after death.
Beautiful verse, actually. Yeah. Can continue, Mataji.
Yeah. Translation. O mighty armed Arjuna, according to the Vedanta, there are 5 causes of accomplishment of all action. Now learn of these from me. Purport. A question may be raised that since any activity performed must have some reaction, how is it that the person in Krishna consciousness does not suffer or enjoy the reactions of work? The Lord is citing Vedanta philosophy to show how this is possible. He says that there are 5 causes of all activities, and for success in all activity, one should consider these 5 causes. Sankhya means the stock of knowledge, and Vedanta is the final stock of knowledge accepted by all leading acharyas. Even Shankara accepts Vedanta Sutra as such. Therefore, such authority should be consulted. The ultimate control is invested in the super soul. As it is stated in the Bhagavad Gita, Sarvasya Chaham Hriti Sannivishta. He is engaging everyone in certain activities by reminding him of his past actions. And Krishna conscious acts done under his direction from within yield no reaction, either in this life or in the life after death. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. All the related Krishna conscious activities which connects to Krishna, no karma involved. It's all akarmic activities. Yeah. Samyukta Mataji, can you please read?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Translation. The place of action, the body, the performer, the various senses, the many different kinds of endeavor, and ultimately the super soul. These are the 5 factors of action. Purport. The word Adhisthana refers to the body. The soul within the body is acting to bring about the results of activity and is therefore known as Karta, the doer. That the soul is the knower and the doer is stated in the Shruti. Esha hi drishta shrashta Prashna Upanishad 4.9. It is also confirmed in the Vedanta Sutra by the words Gnota Eva 2.3.18 and Karta Shastra Ardha Vatvat 2.3.33. The instruments of actions are the senses, and by the senses the soul acts in various ways. For each and every action there is a different endeavor, but all one's activities depends on the will of the super soul, who is seated within the heart as a friend. The Supreme Lord is the super cause. Under these circumstances, he who is acting in Krishna consciousness under the direction of the super soul situated within the heart is naturally not bound by any activity. Those in complete Krishna consciousness are not ultimately responsible for their actions. Everything is dependent on the Supreme Will, the Super Soul, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Mataji. So this is the important, but all one's activities depend on the will of the super soul, who is seated within the heart as a friend. Suhrudam sarva bhutanam. One of the verses in the Bhagavad Gita. Suhrudam sarva bhutanam. Situated in the heart of this every living entity. See the super cause under the circumstances, who is acting in Krishna consciousness under the direction of the super soul situated within the heart is naturally not bound by any activity. So that's what it is. So very nicely explained, right? 5 factors of an action, any activity. Within this, the place of action, the body, the performer, the individual soul, the various senses, the many different kinds of endeavor, and ultimately the super soul. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes. Yeah. 5 factors of an action. So that's the thing. Samsuddhir, Sattvam Samsuddhir. I forgot the exact verse. A purificatory process. Devotional life is the Bhakti Yoga is a purificatory process. So if the action center around Krishna, there is no question of reactions. There is no bound, not binding in this material world. It's liberating. Or that's where karmic activities. If you meditate upon these, 5 factors of an action, if that action could be Krishna conscious activity, there is no question of binding. Let's continue. Yeah. Radhika Mataji, can you please read?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Krishna.
Or translations and purport by our beloved founder Acharya Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Translation: whatever right or wrong action a man performs by body, mind, or speech is caused by these 5 factors. Purport: the words right and wrong are very significant in this verse. Right work is work done in terms of the prescribed directions in the scriptures, and wrong work is work done against the principles of the spiritual injunctions. But whatever is done requires these 5 factors for its complete performance.
You can continue with this one.
Translation: therefore, one who thinks himself the only doer, not considering the 5 factors, is certainly not very intelligent and cannot see things as they are. Purport: such person cannot understand that the super soul is sitting as a friend within and conducting his actions. Although the material causes are the place, the worker, the endeavor, and the senses, the final cause is the supreme, the personality of Godhead. Therefore, one should see not only the 4 material causes, but the supreme efficient cause as well. One who does not see the supreme thinks himself to be the doer.
Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you.
Hmm.
Prabhuji, ఇక్కడ ఒక డౌట్ ఉంది నాకు that till now all the time we have studied that the supreme does not interfere in our free will, and when we are doing we conspire to do something, and the supreme is sanctioning it, and the material nature provides it. That's what we have learned. But isn't it contradictory when we are saying at one side that supreme does not interfere, and here it is saying that the cause is the supreme efficient cause? So what is right? Like if somebody is doing a very criminal act, so till now we have only learned that it is our free will, based on our free will we are doing, we always have a choice. But not considering the 5 factors, certainly not very intelligent. It is saying that super soul, all the material cause are the place, the worker, the endeavor, and the senses. The final cause is the supreme. How do we understand this contradiction?
Okay, therefore, one who thinks himself the only doer, not considering the 5 factors, is certainly not very intelligent and cannot see things as they are. Last lines, Prabhupada, therefore, one should see not only the 4 material causes, but the supreme efficient cause as well.
Because there are some people, usually, like if suppose there are people who argue with us that everything is being done by the supreme only. Supreme is only making us suffer. So God is making us suffer. And everything antaro. So then we'll tell them that it's not like that. It's based on our free will that we are actually choosing, and we are we are suffering the reactions of our actions. So there are multiple factors, and we say, but when with this sentence, it ultimately again comes down to the point that it is the supreme. Then in such case, what is our defense when somebody is arguing with us like that?
See,
the final cause is the supreme.
Yeah. So just one point I will add, and then supreme cause, final cause is the supreme means, like, of course, we have our free will. We misused that way, many times Prabhupada writes in his purports. We have minute little independence, and that free will is not used for the service of Krishna. Somehow we got that, and we cannot be able to trace it how it happened, because with our blunt senses we are trying to understand the limited capacity to the unlimited, how it has happened. It's not so, but basically supreme final cause is the supreme. How can we understand? He facilitates, actually. He's one of the cause to Krishna. I mean, otherwise, a living entity desires to lording it over material nature, just like Krishna, enjoyer, proprietor, and that enjoy controller, proprietor, enjoyer mentality, wanted to enjoy like Krishna. So there is a Nas place. So that's why he created this material world to send these, rebellious souls to enjoy like me. So that's where one of the cause I'm trying to identify that, that's where the material world is also come from Krishna. That is the cause. There is a purpose by creating this material world, in order to satisfy for that particular living entities, wanted to enjoying mentality, proprietor mentality, and controllership mentality. It's not the place, where in the spiritual world, everybody is servant. But here he facilitates, is one of the cause. That's what I'm thinking. You can add, Prabhuji.
And my basic question is for those people who would bluntly say that whatever we are suffering is because of God. And this sentence is also is also rhyming with that. So that is my question, that how do we answer?
No, Mataji, this sentence is not rhyming with that. If I can add an answer to your question,
Yes,
technical answer, Mataji.
Yes,
See,
please.
what is said here, for any action to be performed, these are the 5 things which should be come in line. Then only that action can be performed. Okay. For any action to be performed, these are the 5 things which constitute that action to be performed. That is the question. That is the point which he is discussing.
Okay.
And now Krishna is at the end of Bhagavad Gita.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. What are the 5 things, Prabhuji? Yeah. Actually,
The body, Prabhuji.
Place, body.
The
body,
human body.
Jiva.
Worker means individual soul, the endeavor and the senses, and the supreme will, supreme cause. That means the super soul.
Endeavor and desire, Prabhuji. What?
No. Mataji, endeavor means like this. See, you plan to do something, Mataji. That is what your mind decided. Okay.
Yeah.
That you have a desire and you have planned to do it. And to facilitate all these things, that how this plan should be performed. मैं क्या करूंगा उसके लिए, उसको intelligence बोलते हैं. So here endeavor coincides with the intelligence now.
Okay.
See, mind is either doing or not doing. That's it. Okay. 0 and 1, digital. But this is a sine wave. It goes up and it comes down. Intelligence is like, it will facilitate that one desire to be all, how to do and all. So this is wrong intelligence. If our desire is wrong, intelligence will also be wrong.
Yeah.
Okay.
So in a nutshell, we can think that chariot example that Prabhupada always uses. The 5 senses are the horses, the intelligence is the
the one
driver.
So the senses and endeavor. Endeavor means how you engage that senses, means the intelligence.
Yeah.
Okay. One is the body.
Yeah.
With this body only you'll do all these things, no?
Yeah.
And the other one is performer, means the jiva.
Yeah.
Which has some subtle desire. Which is the subtlest thing. Okay. And the third and fourth is this thing. But the main 5th thing is why Krishna is emphasizing here. The 5th thing means that is the super soul. Means I am the one is who is actually making all these things happen in a form of facilitation, whether it is good or bad. Now you might ask, why should he make happen bad things also?
Yeah, because till now I was thinking he is the spectator.
Yes, he's not a spectator, Mataji. He's a facilitator. Spectator means just sitting. Facilitator means who provides all the facilities and tell them to play your wish, in your own way, whether good or bad, just play. That's it. He's not a spectator. He's a facilitator. He will provide all these things.
All the means by which one can fulfill the desire, whether it is good or bad.
Yes, Mataji.
Okay. But why would he do that?
Because we have a desire, we have a free will. That is our problem, no? That is what he's concluding here.
Whatever is our will, basically he provides. But
he facilitates.
మనం అనుకునేవన్నీ అయిపోవాలి కదా ప్రభుజీ, లైక్ మనం కొన్ని డిజైర్ చేస్తాం, డీప్ డిజైర్స్ చేస్తాం, ఇది కావాలి ఇది కావాలి అలా అనుకుంటే అది అయిపోవాలి కదా.
If it is your first birth, that will happen.
Oh,
But now we have cycled many times, na? So karma also came in.
okay.
So many things, Mataji. So that is why Krishna says that is very complex. When Krishna, who is source of all these things, says it is complex, it is really complex, Mataji. We don't know in past life what the hell we have done,
Hmm.
because of which the karma has come in and we couldn't do many things. Okay, it is said now only 20 to 30% you have in your hand. Some 70% is already pre-decided based on your past. So it is always said, please use the 20 or 30%. That is what we have in our hand.
Okay.
So if it is our first birth, Mataji, it will happen.
Hmm.
And if our past karma is very good, then also it will happen. But do you really think that we should have, it should happen? Whatever our desire is, it should happen? No, the main thing is, whatever is Supreme Will's desire, let me just get dovetailed with that. That is a main, that is a good idea, rather than we thinking with our own will, because we know what we are now, till now, what the mess is happening with us, and why those desires which we don't want but still they are coming and haunting us. These all things happen, why? Because of our past impressions. I'm sorry, did I confuse you?
No, Prabhuji. I got some clarity.
Yeah.
So, but my question
yeah.
still remains ki what we should answer when somebody is asking. Is if we have to answer in one line. Like last time, my brother asked me when he came here.
Mataji, did you ever have any debates with anyone? I used to have a lot. So I'm telling you one thing. Do you have, did you have any proper discussion or debates on anyone, with regarding to bhakti?
No, I
so first
didn't.
thing
I don't
we should
debate
ask them is,
because I'm not confident in what I'm answering. So I usually don't debate. I do present, but earlier I would not present also. But this time I actually presented with diagram and everything. I told him that this is the cause. So he kept quiet. I don't know whether he got convinced or not, but he got.
So we don't do it to convince them, Mataji. And main thing, Mataji, rather than what we say, they see what we do. Okay, so that is one thing. The other one, when they're asking this, you should actually grasp his mood in which he is asking. If he is asking you in a way that he should suppress you or he should trample over you, then let it happen. Na? What happened? Because the first question which you should ask him is, are you convinced with the philosophy which you are already decided? If he says yes, then what is the point of even telling him anything? Okay, so this is the first question when we should ask. And the second question which we should ask him is,
no, first question I didn't hear, Prabhuji. Your voice was breaking. I didn't hear your first question. Sorry.
I'm sorry. Okay, the first question which we should ask to anyone who is asking us a question is, are you really convinced with the philosophy which you already know?
I should ask this to myself or to him?
To him. Why to you? Because he's asking you question. So you will come to know whether he's asking you to just defeat you or to grasp some knowledge.
Usually it was like that, but this time it was like really curiosity. He really asked me.
It's okay. Then you can give him the answers. But many people generally they ask because they already know something and they're convinced with it. So you no need to talk with them only. So when someone asks, you can give this explanation. You can give this explanation quoting Bhagavad Gita 18.11, 18.12. Okay, and you can say these are the 5 activities and this is how he facilitates many things.
So Lalit, you're essentially saying that some questions are for testing and some questions are genuine. So we need to identify first what's the kind of.
Yes, Prabhuji. That is the reason why Jiva Goswami and Rupa Goswami didn't even debate only with many people.
So should
Understood,
we
Prabhu?
like put a question back when somebody asks us, ki, what is your philosophy and what do you think is the reason? Ani adagala manam first.
If you are very close to him, at least ask him, no, what is the reason? Why did you get this question first? Okay. Then you
And
will
what
come
do
to
you
know.
think is the answer? Ani adagala.
Yeah. So what is your this thing? When he says, no, I don't really know, I just wanted to know, then it is a curiosity, you can give them an answer, good answer. But he is from some background, some impersonal background. No need to debate with him only.
Okay.
Generally,
So now we got
60 to 70% is which. Yeah.
So we got two situations. I'm just bifurcating it. Two situations. One is somebody asking for testing. One is somebody asking out of curiosity. So somebody asking for testing, we don't debate with them. Somebody asking out of curiosity, we answer. Now, what should that answer be first?
18.12 and 18.13. And from here, you can answer them. You can quote this. These are the 5 things. The super soul is the main cause, na? And where is this, chapter? This is at the end. So what is Krishna concluding? Are for any action to be performed, na, the super cause is also there, Baba. So ultimately he is telling, and in this sloka especially he is telling, people who don't see the super cause are foolish, right? So indirectly you're telling them you're foolish if you don't see the super cause.
But what if people see only the super cause and no other cause?
See, then they should be true to themselves, Mataji. Sixth, that openness should be there. If we are very adamant that only super cause is doing for my activities also, for my wrongdoings also, then he is not genuine, right? So for any question to be asked now, we should have some genuineness with us, Mataji. That we do activities with our own will, Mataji. Like, it's 7 o'clock in the evening, if we have 2 options, we are choosing, na? When we have options and when we are choosing, then we have used our free will, right? So what you have used that free will for good or bad? If it is for bad, then you have reactions. If it is for good, then also you will have reactions. But what should you do? You should just dovetail it with the supreme will.
Supreme will.
Yeah, that is the conclusion here. Means these are very deep, Mataji. But for them to be understood, we should have done all the 17 chapters again and again and again and again. Then only will come. So don't think that after completion of this 18 chapter we have completed.
No, we have to restart from chapter 1 again.
Yeah. So Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam will go on and on and on. Okay. So that is how it is, Mataji.
Thank you.
And now I am telling you, this day, which is 22nd, today 21st of February 2023, the opinion or the understanding which we have, will be less matured than which we will have the next 18 chapter when we read after 1 year. Understood, Mataji?
Yes, Prabhuji, I know.
Yeah, that is how it goes on. But as of now, we are at this level, so our realization, our understandings and are all at this level.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Oops. Sorry for holding up.
Giriraj Prabhu, I'm sorry. Did I speak anything beyond my capacity, Prabhu? You can correct me.
No, not like that, Prabhuji. You explained so nicely. Yes, that's the thing. Again, see, these scriptures are not for one-time understanding, and that's it, one time done. No. Every time if we read, it's a fresh meanings. That is the beauty of scriptures, spiritual knowledge. Right? So that spiritual knowledge, every time these acharyas, every time they read, they get fresh meanings, fresh understandings, ever fresh. Teachings are ever fresh. Right? How can we understand? This knowledge is there before we take birth in this material world. After we die, it will be there. Right? Now we are experiencing, we are reading. So yes, one time reading, no, multiple reading, repeatedly reading. Krishna only purify our intelligence. Right? So yes, our mind always look for thinking in the material perspective. Sometimes won't accept. Because of the limitedness. We cannot think beyond a certain point because our senses are limited, right? So that's why we have to repeatedly read and like asking this kind of questions, exchange, discussion. That helps us. Thank you very much. Welcome.
I just want to add a quick point, Prabhuji. Those people who surrender, have faith, and trust what the scriptures say, like Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, they grow faster compared to those who test the information, who want proof for everything, who want to be convinced. So those kind of people, I don't think we need to convince. That's what is Lalit Mohan Prabhu is trying to say.
Yeah,
Yes,
because
Prabhuji. Go ahead, Prabhu.
yeah, they have already they have gone with some different philosophies. They have their own argument. They won't gone through proper scripture and understanding. That's where their mind, always doubting and questioning, not convinced of them. That's the thing.
We need a surrendering.
Yeah, surrendering to the instructions, surrendering to the proper Guru Sishya Parampara. Then only that knowledge is going to be revealed, and that helps us. Add, Prabhu. Yeah. Please.
Yes, Prabhuji. Their journey is too far, Prabhu. They should journey more. They should have a long length to complete. Person who is surrendering means adu papam pandin anamata. You tell what is it? Adu panta pandatte. What do you say, Prabhuji? Now he is coming nearer to the Lord. He is very near to the Lord, Prabhu, or he is very near to get to bhakti. But people who are testing, they are in the jnana marga. So they will take a lot of time to come to this path or to come to the position of surrender. Until unless some pure devotee really blesses him, these things, they will take a lot of time. But things can change when a pure devotee comes and they really blesses.
That's true. Yeah.
And Giraj Prabhu, today I can be only with only till 8:45. So you can please continue this reading call till 9, Prabhu, if you think so, because none of them finished now. So tomorrow I will again join because I have a lot of things to do. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much.
Yesterday, did you start anything on?
No, Prabhuji. Dimag khali hum log ka. Actually, they started to tell me the Kunti prayers. So I am just setting the scene, Prabhuji. That's it.
Sure. We'll read till 9 o'clock. Okay, thank you. Sure. I mean, who have not practiced for Dhruva Mara prayer, you can practice. Let us spend. We'll see how it works. So let us continue. Yeah. Okay. This is all good discussion. Thank you. So now, Sandhya Mata, can you please read?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation. One who is not motivated by false ego, whose intelligence is not entangled, though he kills men in this world, doesn't kill, nor is he bound by his actions.
Yeah.
Purport. In this verse, the Lord informs Arjuna that the desire not to fight arises from false ego. Arjuna thought himself to be the doer of action, but he did not consider the supreme sanction within and without. If one doesn't know that a super sanction is there, why should he act? But one who knows the instruments of work, himself as a worker, and the Supreme Lord as a supreme sanctioner, is perfect in doing everything. Such a person is never in illusion. Personal activity and responsibility arise from false ego and godlessness or a lack of Krishna consciousness. Anyone who is acting in Krishna consciousness under the direction of the super soul or the supreme personality of Godhead, even though killing does not kill, nor is he never affected by the reaction of such killing. When a soldier kills under the command of superior officer, he is not subject to be judged. But if a soldier kills on his own personal account, then he is certainly judged by a court of law.
That's it. Thank you, Mataji. Lavanya, you want to read?
Hare Krishna.
Okay.
The translation and purport by A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation. Knowledge, the object of knowledge, and the knower are the three factors that motivate action. The senses and the work and the doer are the three constituents of action. Purport. There are three kinds of impetus for daily work: knowledge, the object of knowledge, and the knower. The instruments of work, the work itself, and the worker are called the constituents of the work. Any work done by any human being has these three elements. Before one acts, there is some impetus, which is called inspiration. Any solution arrived at before work is actualized is a subtle form of work. Then work takes the form of action. First, one has to undergo the psychological process of thinking, feeling, willing, and that is called impetus. The inspiration to work is the same if it comes from the scripture or from the instruction of the spiritual master. When the inspiration is there and the worker is there, then actual activity takes place by the help of the senses, including the mind, which is the center of all the senses. The sum total of all the constituents of activity is called the accumulation of work. Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Very nicely explained. Yeah, three things, three kinds of impetus for daily work: knowledge, object of knowledge, and the knower. Inspiration starts with inspiration. How? Before one acts, there is some impetus, which is called inspiration. Any solution arrived at before work is actualized as a subtle form of work. Then work takes from action. Anything, first inspiration starts with inspiration. In association also, in association with devotees, first we get inspiration, how these devotees are nicely practicing. Every week they are gathering and, so nicely discussions about the Krishna pastimes, nice friendship. Oh, let me continue. That way inspired each other. Association, that starting point. Inspiration to work is the same. It comes from the scripture or from the instruction of the spiritual master. When the inspiration is there, the worker is there, and then the actual activity takes place by the help of the senses, including the mind. And center of all the senses mind. The sum total of all the constituents of an activity is called accumulation of work. So what is a question to this one answering this purport? Answering what is an activity is called the accumulation of work. So this is the answer. So nicely explained. Very nice. Very good. So now let us continue. I think all the matter is done. Lakshman Prabhu, you want to read and drop out? I think it's drop out. Huh? Okay. Sure. So now Raj Prabhu, please read. Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Translation. According to the three modes of material nature, there are three kinds of knowledge: action and performer of action. Now hear of them from me, purport. In the 14th chapter, the three divisions of modes of material nature were elaborately described. In the chapter, it was said that the modes of goodness is illuminating, the mode of passion materialistic, and the mode of ignorance conductive to laziness and indolence. All the modes of material nature are binding. They are not source of liberation. Even in the mode of goodness, one is conditioned. In the 17th chapter, the different types of worship, the different types of worship by different types of men in different modes of material nature were described. In this verse, the Lord says that he wishes to speak about the different types of knowledge. Different types of knowledge, workers, and work itself according to the three material modes. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Krishna is explaining continuously. So, three different modes of material nature. We all know: mode of ignorance, then passion, then goodness. And there are three kinds of knowledge, according to these three modes of material nature: the knowledge, action, and the performer of action. Yes. Let us see. Yeah. Akinjan Prabhu, thank you for joining. Please read, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. No. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. That knowledge by which one undivided spiritual nature is seen in all the living entities, though they are divided into innumerable forms, you should understand to be in the mode of goodness. But a person who sees one spirit soul in every living being, whether a demigod, human being, animal, bird, beast, aquatic, or plant, possesses knowledge in the mode of goodness. In all the living entities, one spirit soul is there, although they have different bodies in terms of the previous work. As described in the 7th chapter, the manifestation of living force is in everybody is due to the superior nature of Supreme Lord. Thus, to see that one superior nature, that living force is in everybody, is to see the mode in mode of goodness. The living energy is imperishable, although the bodies are perishable. Differences are perceived in terms of body because there are many forms of material existence in conditional life. The living force appears to be divided. Such impersonal knowledge is an aspect of self-realization. Correct.
Thank you, Prabhuji. What is that knowledge? We have to see the spirit soul in every living entity, like demigod, human being, animal, bird, beast, aquatic, or plant. That is the knowledge actually, and that is situated in the mode of goodness, as per this purport and this verse. Yeah, to understand, so there is a beautiful verse Krishna himself says in the Bhagavad Gita: Vidya Vinaya Sampanne Brahmane Gavihastine Suni Kecha Swapa Kecha Pandita Samadarshina. So he sees the devotee, every living being is Krishna's creation, and every living being having spirit soul, situated in the mode of goodness. That's what it is. Yes. Let's continue. Sapan Prabhuji, please read. Chandramal Prabhuji is in listening mode. Can read.
Hare Krishna. Translation. That knowledge by which one sees that in every different body there is a different type of living entity, you should understand to be in the mode of passion. Purport. The concept that the material body is a living entity and that with the destruction of the body, the consciousness is also destroyed is called knowledge in the mode of passion. According to that knowledge, body differs from one another because of development of different types of consciousness. Otherwise, there is no separate soul which manifests consciousness. The body is itself the soul, and there is no separate soul beyond the body. According to such knowledge, consciousness is temporary, or else there are no individual souls, but there is an all-pervading soul which is full of knowledge, and this body is a manifestation of temporary ignorance. Beyond this body, there is no spirit, special individual or supreme soul. All such conceptions are considered products of the mode of passion. Hare Krishna.
Yeah. This point, let me read again. The conception of the material body is a living entity, and that the destruction of the body, the consciousness is also destroyed, is called in the mode of passion. So they won't understand, they won't differentiate, consciousness. Consciousness is also destroyed. How can spirit soul, along with spirit soul, three subtle elements carries: the mind, intelligence, false ego, before assuming the other body. Right? The mind, intelligence, false ego, spirit soul, and consciousness. What kind of consciousness, what kind of desires the subtle body along with soul carries, that matters. That's where, mode of passion, the incomplete understanding. Yeah, again, Mata is, let us read. Deepa Mata, please read.
From here, Prabhuji.
Yeah, you can.
Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. And that knowledge by which one is attached to one kind of work as the all in all, without knowledge of the truth, and which is very meager, is said to be in the mode of darkness. Purport. The knowledge of common man is always in the mode of darkness or ignorance because every living entity in conditional life is born into the mode of ignorance. One who does not develop knowledge through the authorities or scriptural injunctions has knowledge that is limited to the body. He is not concerned about acting in terms of the directions of scripture. For him, God is money, and knowledge means the satisfaction of bodily demands. Such knowledge has no connection with the absolute truth. It is more or less like the knowledge of ordinary animals, the knowledge of eating, sleeping, defending, and mating. Such knowledge is described here as the product of the mode of darkness. In other words, knowledge concerning the spirit soul beyond this body is called knowledge in the mode of goodness. Knowledge producing many theories and doctrines by dint of mundane logic and mental speculation is the product of mode of passion. And knowledge concerned only with keeping the body comfortable is said to be in the mode of ignorance. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. So when we read this one, when you read Mataji, I am remembering one verse. Kalo Shudra Sambhava. In the material world, the Kali Yuga, right now in the as per Vedic times, we are in the Kali Yuga. Kalo Shudra Sambhava. We are all Shudra mentality. We are always in mode of ignorance. That's where we have to transcend one after another. We have to be situated in the beyond the three modes. How can we be situated? Through the Bhakti Yoga only. Krishna himself says in the Bhagavad Gita, Mamcha Yoga Vicharena Bhakti Yogena Sevate Sagunan Samatityayitan Brahma Bhuyaya Kalpate. We have to be situated in the Brahman platform. That means devote, Bhakti Yoga. We have to be practiced in the process of Bhakti Yoga. So all the things, these are ignorance. So nicely explained. Eating, sleeping, mating, defending. These are all. What is the difference then? Animals and humans. We have discrimination power. We have to use the discrimination power in the service of the Lord. What is good? What is bad? What is helpful? What is not going to be helpful? What is eternal? What is temporary? So these things. That's called goodness. At least those questions who raises is the starting point in the mode of goodness. Yeah. Samyukta Mataji, please read.
Yes, Prabhuji. Translation. That action which is regulated and which is performed without attachment, without love or hatred, and without desire for fruitive result is said to be in the mode of goodness. Purport. Regulated occupational duties as prescribed in the scriptures in terms of the different orders and divisions of society, performed without attachment or proprietary rights, and therefore without any love or hatred, and performed in Krishna consciousness for the satisfaction of the Supreme, without self-satisfaction or self-gratification, are called actions in the mode of goodness.
Thank you, Mother. So nice. Niyatam Tangarahitam, Aragad Beshatakritam, Apala Prepsuna Karma, Yattat Satvikam Uchyate. So nicely explained. That action which is regulated, which is performed without attachment, without love or hatred, without desire for fruitive result, is said to be in the mode of goodness. So now Krishna is explaining what are the activities in the different modes. So now this one. Sandhya Mataji, can you please read?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Translation by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. But action performed with great effort by one seeking to gratify his desires and enacted from a sense of false ego is called action in the mode of passion.
They have intense desires for enjoying material nature. Passionate. The mode itself is passionate. They put great effort. Atyahara prayasa, that is there, no? These are the mode of passion. Prophet instruction teaches us. You can continue this one also, Mataji.
Okay, Prabhuji. Translation. That action performed in illusion, in disregard of scriptural injunctions and without concern for future bondage or for violence or distress caused to others is said to be in the mode of ignorance. Purport. One has to give account of one's action to the state or to the agents of the Supreme Lord called the Yamadutas. Irresponsible work is destructive because it destroys the regulative principles of scriptural injunction. It is often based on violence and is distressing to other living entities. Such irresponsible work is carried out in the light of one's personal experience. This is called illusion, and all such illusory work is product of the mode of ignorance.
Very good. That it destroys. Thank you. That it destroys. The action performed in illusion in disregard of scriptural injunctions. What is that? A sinful life. No regulative principles. Meat eating, intoxication, illicit sex, and gambling. Concern for future bondage, for violence. Violence created through those four no's. That's a devotee prerequisite to practice in devotional life, that we have to follow the 4 regulative principles. Okay. Radhika Mataji, can you read?
Yeah, Hare Krishna. One who performs his duty without association with the modes of material nature, without false ego, with great determination and enthusiasm, and without wavering in success or failure, is said to be a worker in the mode of goodness. Purport. A person in Krishna consciousness is always transcendental to the material modes of nature. He has no expectations for the result of the work entrusted to him, because he is above false ego and pride. Still, he is always enthusiastic till the completion of such work. He does not worry about the distress undertaken. He is always enthusiastic. He does not care for success or failure. He is equal in both distress and happiness. Such a worker is situated in the mode of goodness.
Very nice. Thank you. Right. So, Brahmabhuta Prasannatma, that is the pure devotee's quality, they are situated in the, rightly situated in the pure goodness. Brahmabhuta Prasannatma na sochati na kankshati. Sama sarveshu bhuteshu madbhakte labate param. So nicely, Krishna is teaching all these instructions and how the people situated in these modes and their activities, right? So nice. Without association with the modes of material nature, without false ego, with great determination, enthusiasm, without wavering in success or failure, it's said to be a worker in the mode of goodness. Prabhupada has nicely written purport. Lavanya, would you like to read? Hare Krishna.
Yeah, Hare Krishna. Translation. Purport by A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Translation. The worker who is attached to work and the fruits of work, desiring to enjoy those fruits, and those who are greedy, always envious, impure, and moved by joy and sorrow, is said to be in the mode of passion. Purport. A person is too much
Attached.
A person is too much attached to a certain kind of work or to the result because he has too much attachment for materialism or health and home, wife and children. Such a person has no desire for higher elevation in life. He is simply concerned with making this world as materially comfortable as possible. He is generally very greedy, and he thinks that anything attained by him is permanent and never to be lost. Such a person is envious of others and prepared to do anything wrong for sense gratification. Therefore, such a person is unclean, and he does not care whether his earning is pure or impure. He is very happy if his work is successful and very much distressed when his work is not successful. Such is the worker in the mode of passion. Yeah, Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Yeah, passionate guys. Actually, let us spend some time, another 5-10 minutes to read, or other Prabhuji will read. So we all practiced all the prayers of the Dhruva Maharaj. Everybody's done. Everybody done. Akinchan Prabhu, Chandramail Prabhu, Raju Prabhu, you are comfortable reciting Dhruva Maharaj prayer, and then we are starting Kunti Maharaj prayers. Hare Krishna. Raju Prabhu, Chandramail Prabhu.
Hare Prabhuji, Hare Krishna.
మీరు కంఫర్టబుల్ ఏనా ప్రభుజీ ధ్రువ మహారాజ్ ప్రేయర్స్ చదివినారా
చదివినాము ప్రభుజీ ఆల్రెడీ.
Then Chandramail Prabhu, what about you? Done? Yes, Hare Krishna. And Akinchan Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhu, we are done.
Done? Okay, sure. Let us spend another 5 to 10 minutes. Let us read. Then see. You read, Prabhu? Akinchan Prabhu?
Okay, Prabhu. Translation. The worker who is always engaged in work against the injunctions of scriptures, who is materialistic, obstinate, cheating, and expert in insulting others, and who is the lazy, always morose, and procrastinating, is said to be the worker in the mode of ignorance. Purport. In the scripture injunctions, we find what sort of work should be performed and what sort of work should not be performed. Those who do not care of those injunctions engage in the work not to be done, and such persons are generally materialistic. They work according to the modes of nature, not according to the injunctions of the scriptures. Such workers are not very gentle, and generally they are always cunning and expert in insulting others. They are very lazy, even though they have some duty. They do not do it properly and put aside to do later on. Therefore, they appear to be morose. They procrastinate anything which can be done in an hour. They drag on for years. Such workers are situated in the mode of ignorance.
Yeah. Very mode of ignorance.
So much heavy.
Heavy. That is really actually directly Krishna is saying means, that's perfect. Yeah. Sapam Prabhu, can you read?
Yeah, Hare Krishna. Translation: O winner of wealth, now please listen as I tell you in detail of different kinds of understanding and determination according to the three modes of material nature. Purport. Now, after explaining knowledge, the object of knowledge, and the knower in three different divisions according to the modes of material nature, the Lord is explaining the intelligence and determination of the worker in the same way. Hare Krishna.
So, very good. Read this one also, Prabhu.
Translation: O son of Pratha, that understanding by which one knows what ought to be done and what ought not to be done, what is to be feared and what is not to be feared, what is binding and what is liberating, is in the mode of goodness. Performing actions in terms of the directions of the scriptures is called pravarti, or executing actions that deserve to be performed, and actions which are not so directed are not to be performed. One who does not know the scriptural directions becomes entangled in the actions and reactions of work. Understanding what discriminates by intelligence is situated in the mode of goodness.
Yeah, know what is action, what is inaction. Karma, akarma. Okay. Yes. Thank you, Prabhuji. Raju Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Translation. O son of Pratha, that understanding which cannot distinguish between religion and irreligion, between action that should be done and action that should not be done, is in the mode of passion.
Can read this one also.
Translation. That understanding which considers religion to be religion and religion to be religion under the spell of illusion and darkness, and strives always in the wrong direction. O Partha, he is in the mode of ignorance. Purport. Intelligence in the mode of ignorance is always working the opposite way it should. It accepts religions which are not actually religions and rejects actual religion. Men in ignorance understand a great soul to be common man and accept a common man as a great soul. They think truth to be untruth and accept untruth as a truth. In all activities, they simply take the wrong path. Therefore, their intelligence is in the mode of ignorance. Hare Krishna.
So nice. Yeah, I'll read one or two, then you can wrap up. Okay. Text 33. O son of Pratha, that determination which is unbreakable, which is sustained with steadfastness by yoga practice, and which thus controls the activities of the mind, life, and senses, is determination in the mode of goodness. So that Krishna is explaining of determination. Purport: yoga is a means to understand the super soul. Yoga is a means to understand the supreme soul. One who is steadily fixed in the supreme soul with determination, concentrating one's mind, life, and sensory activities on the supreme, engages in Krishna consciousness. That sort of determination is in the mode of goodness. The word avyabhicharinya is very significant. So yoge na avyabhicharinya here. Yeah. Mam cheyo avyabhicharena. That's also significant. In other words, For it indicates that persons who are engaged in Krishna consciousness are never deviated by any other activity. Super. Another 2 words, let us see, and then we'll wrap up. Determination, right? So now, mode of passion, Krishna is explaining here. Yeah. Any Matajis, can you please read?
I'll read, Prabhuji. Translation. But the determination by which one holds fast to fruitive results in religion, economic development, and sense gratification is of the nature of passion, O Arjuna. Purport. Any person who is always desirous of fruitive results in religious or economic activities, whose only desire is sense gratification, and whose mind, life, and senses are thus engaged, is in the mode of passion.
Sense gratifier is always in the mode of passion and ignorance. Yes, thank you, Mataji. We'll conclude with, anybody likes to read? This is the determination in the mode of.
I'll read, Prabhuji. Translation. And that determination which cannot go beyond dreaming, fearfulness, lamentation, moroseness, and illusion. Such unintelligent determination, O son of Pritha, is in the mode of darkness. Purport. It should not be concluded that a person in the mode of goodness does not dream. Here, dream means too much sleep. Dreaming is always present, either in the mode of goodness, passion, or ignorance. Dreaming is a natural occurrence. But those who cannot avoid oversleeping, who cannot avoid the pride of enjoying material objects, who are always dreaming of lording it over the material world, and whose life, mind, and senses are thus engaged, are considered to have determination in the mode of ignorance.
Very well. Yes. Thank you, Mataji. Let us stop here. Thank you so much for another 5-10 minutes more. So let us connect tomorrow. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Ananta koti vaishnav vrinda ki jai. Srila Prabhupada translated book reading ki jai. Nitai Gaur Hari Premanande Hari Hari Bol. Thank you so much. Sapan Prabhu, Samyukta Mataji, Lavanya, Deepa Mataji, Radhika Mataji, Sandhya Mataji, Chandra Prabhu, Raju Prabhu, Akinchan Priya Prabhu. Okay. Have a